Dark greetings, I am Lord Freakzilla, and this is Gothic Sagas. Here we explore deep into the shadows of reality, where the strange, the creepy, and the tragic collide. So hit that subscribe button, and together, let's venture into the darkness, where shadows dance and secrets lurk.
In September of 2019, a YouTuber named Brennan uploaded a chilling video to his channel, Uncharted Travels, titled Exploring Baltimore's Creepy Children Asylum at 3 a.m. Brennan's channel focuses primarily on urban exploration, documenting strange discoveries inside abandoned locations across the United States. Many of his videos featured unsettling encounters in forgotten places where time seems to have simply stopped. For this particular investigation, Brennan teamed up with two other explorers, Dan Bell and Jaden. Together they planned to explore an abandoned facility known as the Gundry Sanitarium, located in Baltimore, Maryland. Built in 1880, the Gundry Sanitarium was one of the first private mental health institutions in the state. In its early years, the facility specialized in treating nervous disorders in women. But as the understanding of mental health slowly evolved, the sanitarium eventually expanded its services to include children suffering from severe psychiatric conditions. For decades, the hospital played a role in caring for patients who had few other options. But over time, the institution struggled to keep up with changing medical standards and the modernization of mental health care. By the early 2000s, the facility was permanently shut down. Since then, the building has sat abandoned. Urban explorers and paranormal investigators have long claimed the sanitarium is haunted. Many report hearing unexplained sounds echoing through the empty halls. Others describe sudden cold spots or the unsettling feeling that someone is watching them. Despite these stories, Brennan and his friends decided to investigate the building themselves in the middle of the night. What made the trip even more unsettling was the fact that Dan had already explored the sanitarium years earlier, and during that visit, he experienced something deeply disturbing. Even after hearing about Dan's unsettling experience, the group decided to return to the Gundry Sanitarium to see for themselves whether anything truly strange was happening inside. But the moment they stepped through the entrance, it became clear the building had deteriorated badly over the years. The walls were crumbling, parts of the ceiling had collapsed, and debris was scattered across nearly every room. As they carefully moved through the darkened halls, they stumbled upon something disturbing. Inside one of the rooms lay the decaying carcass of a cat. The explorers assumed the animal must have wandered inside and somehow became trapped in the abandoned building. Though unsettling, they didn't dwell on it and continued their investigation. For a while, everything seemed relatively normal. The group moved from room to room, documenting what remained of the old asylum. But that calm wouldn't last long. Not long after, the explorers began hearing strange noises echoing somewhere in the building, and that's when the night started to take a very unsettling turn.
Is Brennan in there?
Yeah.
And where? I'm right here.
I just saw, hello?
Is somebody in here?
What, did you just see someone, Dan?
Hey, we're cool.
We're just taking pictures.
For what?
They're upstairs. There's somebody walking upstairs. Are you sure you saw something?
Yeah.
That's not a room.
Do they have a light with them or something?
After hearing the noises, the group began to suspect they weren't alone inside the building. Their first thought was that it might be a squatter or someone living in the abandoned asylum. Not wanting to startle anyone, they loudly announced who they were and explained that they were simply explorers filming the location, but no one answered. Curious and slightly uneasy, They entered the room where the sounds had come from, yet when they looked around, there was no one there. At that point, the group decided to set up several pieces of ghost hunting equipment throughout the building. Even though they were skeptical about paranormal activity, the sanitarium's haunted reputation combined with Dan's earlier experience there made them curious enough to test it. Once the equipment was in place, they continued their exploration and made their way upstairs. While searching the upper level, something strange happened. One of the doors slowly opened on its own. At first, they dismissed it. Old buildings often shift, and they assumed the movement was caused by a draft of air pressure inside the decaying structure. So they continued exploring, but only moments later, the explorers began hearing the strange noises again.
Okay, I'm gonna finish with this wing though first. Look at the tile. I think this was a bathroom for this floor. Oh, this is that wonky stairwell that we saw. See how it just like wraps around? Oh, this looks modern compared to the rest of the place.
Yeah.
Oh, that's creepy.
I've never been in this part. Oh my god.
There's like dolls, yeah.
There's a room full of toilets.
Upstairs.
Oh, do you hear that? It sounds like one of the toilets is going off.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh no, it's a timer. What the? Did you wind up this timer? What the hell? Did you wind up the thing for the jacuzzi?
There's a jacuzzi?
This thing was going off right here.
Is there
This-
a jacuzzi?
This was, well no, because this was wound up and it was making a noise like that. You hear that?
Yeah, no.
That was some...
I don't know. I didn't wind that up though.
When Brennan went to investigate the noise, he quickly realized it was coming from a timer that had somehow been wound up and activated. The strange part was, when he had first entered the room, the timer had not been running. Now it was ticking loudly. That meant someone had physically turned it on. The discovery immediately raised a disturbing possibility. Either someone else was inside the building with them, or something had moved through the room while they weren't looking. Unnerved by the situation, the group didn't stay in the room for long. Instead, they decided to head back downstairs and continue searching the rest of the building. But as they explored further, they would soon encounter something that completely changed the tone of the entire investigation.
You said you found another dead cat?
Yeah. They put a flower with it? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Damn, that's
Is
messed
this
up.
somebody killing cats and just...
I don't think so.
Because how else would it have gotten up here? That door. It wouldn't have been able to move the door.
Wait, was the door closed?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been able to move this door.
Oh yeah. That's the only way into this section?
Yeah.
Are there any open windows or?
Nothing that a cat, it's all boarded up. I've been through this whole section.
This door.
No! No. The door just opened by itself. No.
Which one?
That door just opened by itself. That door.
out.
That door just opened by itself.
Calm down. There's no one in here.
It opened by itself, Dan. I'm standing right there and it opened. It opened up and there's no wind up there. Like I swear to God.
Alright. Let's chill out.
I'll go first next time. Hello? I'm coming to hang out. Oh yeah, door's wide open.
Yeah, it opened and it doesn't close. That door doesn't move. It has to be pushed. Like try to close it.
After witnessing the door suddenly swing open, Jaden panicked and rushed downstairs to regroup with the others. Although the moment itself wasn't fully captured on camera, his reaction made it clear he had just witnessed something that genuinely frightened him. When the group later returned upstairs to check the area, they noticed the door was standing wide open. What made the moment even more unsettling was the fact that there was no open windows or no noticeable wind that could have caused the door to move. By this point, the explorers were becoming increasingly uneasy about everything happening inside the building. Still, they pushed forward with their investigation, but while walking through another room, they soon stumbled across something far more disturbing.
I just saw the door.
That door? Yeah, the dolls moved around in that room over there.
Yeah, swear to God, they're moving.
They're in different places
Yeah, I
than when
don't
we were
like
just
this.
there.
Did you not bring them out?
I'm not touching that. It's moving around.
Dan. Oh my God. Why are you gonna go grab it?
Dan, look.
I'm not sitting there.
Yeah, you're getting big readings over here, Dan. I wonder why.
Dan, Oh. I still hear a woman talking.
Dan, those dolls are in a completely different place from when we last saw them. See how it's over by the wall now? It was over by the closet before.
You guys probably kicked it when you were looking in the door.
No, Dan.
I'm pretty sure I would have known if I kicked a doll.
There was no way I kicked it.
I mean, I'm gonna have to review the footage, but I'm pretty sure that that doll was up there.
There's no way I kicked it 2 feet.
This is where we should do it.
Do you hear the woman? Do you hear the woman again?
Let's go grab.
But that door's moving though. So that's also a hot
Look,
spot.
the place is haunted.
When the explorers first entered the room earlier, a doll had been laying near the doorway, but when they returned, the doll had somehow moved several feet across the floor. None of the explorers remembered touching it, and the new position was far enough away that it couldn't easily be explained by accident. Something inside the building had moved it. After witnessing the doll's strange movement and hearing what sounded like a distant woman's voice echoing somewhere in the asylum, the group decided they had seen enough. The unsettling events of the night had pushed them far beyond their comfort level. Rather than risk staying any longer, the explorers ended their investigation and left the building. To this day, it remains unclear what exactly they experienced inside the abandoned Gundry Sanitarium. Was the movement of the doors and the doll caused by something paranormal? Or was someone secretly moving through the building, watching them from the shadows? The truth behind what happened that night may never be known, but the legend of the abandoned children's asylum in Baltimore continues to grow, leaving many to wonder what might still be lurking inside those forgotten halls. In June of 2023, a YouTuber named Kaylee uploaded a troubling exploration titled Exploring a Haunted Abandoned Psych Ward to her channel, The Paranormal Patch. Her content usually follows her drifting from one forgotten structure to the next, documenting the echoes inside America's haunted and decaying places. This time she set her sights on the abandoned Arthur Brisbane Treatment Center, tucked away in the deep woods of New Jersey. Reaching it wasn't easy. Kaylee hiked nearly 2 miles through the thick brush before finally spotting the first of the 3 derelict buildings looming through the trees. She slipped into the first structure, flashlight trembling across hollow rooms and broken tiles. Nothing. No voices, no movement, no hint of the supernatural. The second building wasn't much different. Collapsed furniture, graffiti peeling like sunburnt skin, and silence thick enough to swallow her footsteps. But the third building, the moment she stepped inside, the tone of the entire exploration changed. The air felt charged, heavier, and that's when things began to go wrong for Kaylee.
Look at this, guys. Okay. Oh my god. Oh, look at the lockers. Guys, this place is so loud. Is it haunted? Because I keep hearing noises too. Okay, let's go in. So this was the schoolhouse. See if I missed anything cool. I hope I can open this. Why did it move as soon as I came close to it? Can someone explain that to me? That was freaky.
As Kaylee approached one of the interior doors, it suddenly shifted and rattled as if something on the other side had shoved it. She froze, heart pounding, then forced herself to open it. Inside, nothing. No animals, no person, nothing that could have caused this sudden movement. She lingered, replaying the moment, trying to make sense of it. Eventually, she brushed it off, telling herself it must have been the wind or the unstable frame of the old building. But as she wandered deeper into the third facility, the calm she forced on herself didn't last long. Something else was waiting behind the next hallway.
I think it's all basically the same shit. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? That scared the shit out of me. Oh my good lord. That was spooky. Why the fuck are the doors opening and closing?
Multiple doors began swinging open on their own, then slamming shut with violent force. Not one, not two, several at once. Kaylee bolted from the room and stared down the hallway, trying to convince herself she had seen something logical. Her earlier wind theory no longer made sense. There were no open windows, no cross breeze, nothing to explain several doors moving simultaneously. She stood outside for several minutes debating whether to leave the building entirely, but curiosity, and maybe stubbornness, won out. After catching her breath, she stepped back inside to investigate whatever was causing those doors to move.
Not fucking moving doors again. Do we go towards it? Bruh. What door is doing that? Oh, I like this room. Hey, shut up back there. What door was doing that? What's this? What one is it? Y'all just watched me walk past all of that. What door is that? What door is doing that? Dude, I'm leaving. I'm going through this hole. Alright, let's get out of here.
Inside, Kaylee searched every hallway and room she could reach, but nothing explained the intense, repeated door slamming she had witnessed. Worse, more doors began shifting, creaking, and slamming as she walked past them, as if reacting to her presence. By now, her nerves were done. Whatever was causing the commotion, wind, or hidden squatter, or something she couldn't see, she no longer cared. She backed out through a collapsed wall and made her way out of the structure for good. To this day, there's no confirmed explanation. A squatter could have been inside, but she never heard footsteps or voices, just the violent movement of doors. And while old buildings can react to air pressure, the synchronized slamming and lack of airflow makes that theory unlikely. Whether it was the wind or something darker hiding inside the Arthur Brisbane Treatment Center, only Kaylee knows how it felt to stand in that hallway and watch those doors move on their own.
So, I don't really know too much about this place, other than the fact that it was like a school for children who needed help. I've seen some reviews on Google Maps of people who actually went here and they said that it was terrible.
In April of 2021, a disturbing video was uploaded to YouTube by a creator named Graham Furlong. The footage shows Graham and a small group of his friends exploring what they believe to be an abandoned school somewhere in England. At first, nothing about the video appears out of the ordinary. It looks like a typical urban exploration, a group of teenagers wandering through empty hallways and decaying classrooms. But that sense of normalcy quickly disappears. As the group makes their way toward the upper floors of the building, the atmosphere begins to shift. What starts as casual exploration soon turns into something far more unsettling.
I'm just going my own way, trying to explore. What are you doing? Oi!
What?
What are you doing?
Nothing. We thought that was you.
Mate! What did you do that for?
What are you flipping away?
That rock just coming there hitting me on the
You
head.
chat so much.
I swear down.
We didn't throw anything.
I swear down.
We didn't throw anything.
That rock.
Max is reading or something. Yeah. We were near.
That rock was hitting me on the head.
Again. Nah, I swear down.
Look! I told you, it nearly hit me on the head. I'm not lying.
I just want to hate Queens from it again.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Yeah, we're off. Hands over.
What's wrong with rocks for? No, that's not police.
Okay.
That's not police. That's not police.
Oh, we go. Okay.
We're coming.
Okay, we're coming. We're going out now.
That's not police. That's not police. That's not police.
When Graham suddenly felt something strike the top of his head, his first assumption was that one of his friends had thrown a rock as a joke. But that theory immediately fell apart. Moments later, they heard voices shouting from another part of the building. The group claimed to be police. Despite the commanding tone, it quickly became clear that they were not law enforcement. What made the situation even more unsettling was the fact that none of the explorers could understand why they were being targeted. They hadn't seen anyone else inside the school before this encounter. Instead of fleeing immediately, the group made the risky decision to approach the individuals and confront them.
Wait, you don't have to put your hands on.
Oh, wait, look.
Who is it?
That's not police.
Who's it? Oh, wait, come this way, come this way. Come.
That's not police.
Come, just go,
Who are you
come.
walking out to?
I ain't police.
We didn't come in this way, we're coming single file with our hands up.
No. Listen.
Right there, put your way. Through here.
Shouting for?
We're on the explorers. Where you go? Where you go?
What?
Where you go?
You're not police.
Where are you from?
You're not even police.
Where are you from?
It's none of your, no, I'm not
Where are you
police.
from?
It's none of your business.
Where are you from?
None of your business.
Where are you from?
None of your f***ing business. Shut up. I told you they weren't police.
Yeah, we're back. How's that come? Where's the way?
After a brief, intense exchange, the explorers realized the situation was spiraling out of control. Not wanting it to escalate further, they turned and moved deeper into the building, heading toward the lower floors in an attempt to put distance between themselves and the attackers. Unfortunately, their plan didn't work. Before long, it became clear that the group pretending to be the police was actively following them, searching the building.
Wait. You can't come back. Let's go both ways, both ways. Come on.
I told you that. Turn your lights off. Listen.
What are you doing?
Don't go.
Where goes something? How are you? Wait, I'm good. Yeah. That's all he's done, isn't it? Should we go?
Just wait for them to come. Yeah, they're coming in.
They're coming in, the shining light. Come.
Don't move, because they're coming in. Wait for them to come in. Yeah, they're gonna throw something. Told ya. Yeah, they're coming back. Get down, because they're gonna throw something at the window. Come here, follow me now. Ringing the police. Hi.
By this point, The explorers had been hiding inside a room for several minutes. The attackers could still be heard shouting and moving through the building, clearly unwilling to let them leave unnoticed. At one point, a rock was thrown through a window above the room where the group was hiding, narrowly missing them. That was the breaking point. Realizing how dangerous the situation had become, Graham finally called the police. The video abruptly cuts off shortly after, offering no clear resolution. It's unknown whether anyone was injured or if the attackers were ever confronted by authorities. Most likely, the group found an opportunity to escape and fled the building once it was safe to do so. Because of the lack of information, the attackers' true intentions remain unclear. However, based on their behavior that night, it's evident that they were not there by coincidence. And whatever their motives were, they were almost certainly dangerous. In October 2022, a YouTuber named Chris Hill, creator of the exploration channel urbex, released a video that would unsettle even seasoned investigators of the unknown. His channel was built on documenting abandoned places across America, locations long forgotten by time, yet never truly empty. On this night, Chris chose to explore the abandoned Cedar Avenue Substation, a crumbling industrial relic hidden within Cleveland. Constructed in 1917 by the Cleveland Railroad Company, the substation once pulsed with purpose. It was the first automatic facility of its kind for the company, helping power the electric streetcars that reshaped the city's transportation. But progress is merciless. As technology evolved, the substation was abandoned on June 15, 1948. For more than 75 years, it stood silent. Over time, stories began to grow around its empty halls. Whispers of figures seen where no one stood. Movements where nothing should move. Sounds with no source. Despite the warnings, despite the rumors, Chris entered the structure alone, in the middle of the night. Inside, the building was decaying. The walls peeled apart like shedding skin. The air was stale. Animal remains lay scattered across the floor. Silent evidence that life had passed through and died there. Chris placed infrared cameras throughout the structure, hoping to capture what the human eye might miss. Then he descended into the basement, and that's when everything changed.
Alright, let's head down. Alright. Whoa. It's noticeably colder in here. What the hell? If you stand right here, it's kind of warm. Like normal temperature. But as soon as you go in here, it gets cold. That is creepy as hell. Shit. Whoa, that is weird. That is weird. Like, I'm not joking on it. It's noticeably colder. Shit, this is gonna be creepy. Oh, God. Help me. I keep thinking I hear somebody talking. I wonder what these things are used for. It's like these shells are all connected, it seems like. Damn. Can't tell though.
As Chris stepped into the basement, he immediately noticed something unnatural. The air had changed. Just beyond the doorway, the temperature dropped sharply, as if he had crossed an invisible boundary. When he stepped back, the warmth returned. When he stepped forward again, the cold swallowed him once more. Cold spots like this are often associated with alleged hauntings. Many investigators believe they occur when something unseen draws heat from the surrounding environment. As Chris scanned the room, his camera briefly passed across a long concrete structure. Hidden in the darkness behind it, a pale shape shifted, a white figure. But Chris never saw it. He continued exploring, unaware he had already been seen. Moments later, as he returned upstairs, one of his infrared cameras captured something far more disturbing.
666. That's just a generator. I cannot notice. Hell's door. That's kind of creepy. do gotta go down there too. Did you hear that? That was loud. What the hell? What the fuck? What was that? What the fuck was that noise? Oh, shit. All of a sudden I feel sick. Come on, don't do this. Oh, fuck. Come on, man. I gotta get out of here.
A sudden violent bang shattered the silence. Chris froze. In that moment, just behind him, something moved. A shadowy figure passed within arm's reach, silent, fast, and impossibly close. Chris turned. Nothing was there, but seconds later, the same figure appeared again, peering from a doorway across the room, as if it had crossed the space instantly. Then, Chris's body began to fail him. Without warning, he became violently ill. He began vomiting uncontrollably, his strength draining away. While he struggled, the white figure appeared again in the background, watching him, observing, waiting. Chris never saw it. He wouldn't discover any of this until later, when reviewing his footage at home. Shaken but determined, he returned to the substation 1 month later. He wanted answers. He had no idea. Something was waiting for him.
Probably not a good idea to be back here after what happened last time. I got the same setup, the same IR camera set up, and see if I can catch anything else. So I'm back. Wish me luck. I'm just gonna follow the same path as last time. It's a weird noise in this room. That's creepy.
As Chris moved back into the building, retracing his previous steps, his equipment captured something chilling. A voice, faint and low. It whispered a warning. You're not supposed to be here. Then after a pause, it told him to run. Chris never reacted. He hadn't heard it. Not then.
It's a weird noise in this room.
Ignoring the warning he never knew existed, Chris continued deeper into this structure. He searched the rooms where he had previously seen nothing, but felt things. At first, there were no signs of movement, no figures, no sounds. But when he returned to the basement, the cold returned with him. The temperature dropped so sharply that his breath became visible. The same unnatural boundary, the same invisible presence. Still, he pressed forward, and then something moved.
It's still really cold in here. Look, you can see my breath now. Look. Like, that's how you know I'm not lying. It's really creepy in here. As I walk, it sounds like people are talking. Bones are still there. It's nasty. What the hell is that? Oh, shit. Something's up there. Holy shit. I know y'all heard that. That scared the shit out of me. I do have my gun just in case. It might have been an animal. Holy shit.
A massive crash thundered from above. Chris panicked and ran, his survival instincts overriding his curiosity. Later reviewing the footage, his infrared camera revealed the white figure again. It moved through the room with purpose. Chris tried to rationalize what happened. He believed a crate had simply fallen from above, but nothing explained how it had fallen or what had moved it. Still searching for answers, he set up another infrared camera and continued investigating. That decision would prove dangerous.
There's the grate. This big ass box just fell on this grate. Maybe it fell from up there. Oh my God, my heart's racing. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna put the IR camera up here while I explore. I got the IR camera set up at the top floor. Yeah, those gotta be raccoons. I can hear them up there. Oh my God. What the fuck just happened?
Without warning, Chris was violently thrown backward. There was no visible attacker, no animal, no person, nothing. He hit the ground hard and lost consciousness. For nearly 10 minutes, he lay motionless on the cold basement floor. During that time, strange white particles appeared in the air above him, drifting into view before vanishing into nothing. When Chris finally regained consciousness, confusion and fear overtook him. He grabbed his equipment and fled. He never looked back. Whatever existed inside that building had given him warnings. First, it made him sick. Then it told him to leave. Then it tried to scare him away. And when he refused, it forced him out. Since that night, Chris has never returned to the Cedar Avenue substation. Some places are abandoned, others are occupied, just not by the living. In March of 2021, a paranormal investigator named Dennis uploaded a video titled Real Poltergeist Activity Caught on Camera to his YouTube channel, Dark Ghost Paranormal. His channel focuses entirely on investigating allegedly haunted locations, where he documents his experiences exploring abandoned buildings across Europe. In this particular investigation, Dennis traveled to a remote area of Russia to explore a house long rumored to be haunted. From the moment he stepped inside, the atmosphere felt wrong. The air was heavy and still, and the silence carried an unnatural tension that immediately put him on edge. Despite the uneasy feeling, Dennis continued forward, determined to document whatever he might encounter. To ensure nothing went unnoticed, he began setting up multiple cameras throughout the house, positioning them in different rooms to capture any unusual activity. But even before finishing his setup, Dennis heard something disturbing. Strange noises. They were faint but unmistakable, and they were coming from the attic. Driven by curiosity and caution, he began moving toward the source of the sound. But as he approached the room, he had no idea he was about to witness something he couldn't explain.
Я слышал шумы в той комнате. Вот, и на чердаке. Они, в общем, везде здесь. Уже несколько раз включал свет там. Шумы были. Сейчас шум в первой комнате. будто бы что-то тащит. Можно еще посмотреть. Опа.
When Dennis first heard the noise, he froze. He stood completely still, listening carefully, trying to determine whether what he heard was real or just his imagination. Slowly he entered the room, and that's when he saw it. A wooden drawer, which had previously been part of the cabinet, was now sitting several feet away from where it should have been. It hadn't simply fallen, it had moved. Dennis hadn't touched it. There was no one else inside the house, yet somehow the drawer had shifted position entirely on its own. He remained in the room, studying the scene, trying to understand what could have caused it. But before he could find an answer, something else happened, something far more dangerous.
Друзья, я сейчас просто в реальном шоке. Еще чуть-чуть бы, если бы я не услышал скрежет, меня бы сейчас реально придавило этим шкафом. У меня просто нет слов, это просто пипец.
Without warning, a large cabinet positioned behind Dennis suddenly toppled over. It crashed to the floor with violent force, landing only a few feet away from him. Had he been standing just slightly closer, it could have struck him directly. Dennis stood frozen in shock. There was no visible reason for the cabinet to fall. It hadn't been touched. There was no vibration, no movement, and no one else present. Shaken by the incident, Dennis quickly left the room and retreated to another part of the house, trying to calm himself and process what had just occurred. After several minutes, he cautiously returned, but what he found made even less sense. The cabinet and the drawer had somehow returned to their original positions, as if nothing had ever happened. Dennis was left speechless, unable to explain what he was witnessing. He continued exploring the house, though the tension never left him. Eventually exhausted both physically and mentally, he decided to rest for a short time, but even that wouldn't bring him peace.
Я немножко придремал. Не знаю, сколько это длилось. И я почувствовал резкий холод. Будто бы холодный ветер, не знаю, тут подул. И вот смотрите, что я еще нашел. Заметил, вернее.
While Dennis slept, His camera continued recording. Soft tapping noises echoed faintly through the building. Then suddenly, a loud explosion shattered the silence. Dennis jolted awake instantly. Disoriented and alarmed, he rushed to find the source of the noise. What he discovered only deepened the mystery. The fuse box had blown apart. There was no clear cause, no visible trigger. It had simply exploded on its own. By this point, Dennis was overwhelmed. The moving furniture, the fallen cabinet, the sounds, and now the explosion. None of it made sense. Despite everything, he remained inside for a short time longer, continuing his investigation, but nothing else happened. Eventually, he decided it was time to leave. To this day, there's no confirmed explanation for what Dennis experienced inside that house. Whether it was structural instability, an elaborate hoax, or something truly paranormal remains unknown. But one thing is for certain, that night, Dennis was not alone in that house, and whatever was there made sure he knew it. These three individuals are YouTubers named Lucas and Marquinhos, along with their friend Cedar. In June of 2021, they uploaded a deeply unsettling video titled Scary Encounter in an Abandoned House to their channel Cazadores de Sombras. Their channel primarily focuses on paranormal investigations, documenting explorations of abandoned and allegedly haunted locations across South America. In this particular video, the trio traveled to an abandoned building located somewhere in Brazil, a place that had developed a disturbing reputation long before they had ever stepped inside. According to locals and previous explorers, the structure had been abandoned for many years. Since then, it had become a hotspot for reports of unexplained activity. Visitors claimed to hear voices echoing through empty rooms, objects moving on their own, and shadowy figures appearing without warning. Some even believed the building was home to a malevolent presence, earning it the reputation of being one of the most haunted locations in the region. Despite knowing all of this, the trio chose to investigate the building late at night. From the moment they entered, the atmosphere felt wrong. The air was heavy, the silence unnatural. As they cautiously moved through the structure, their nerves were clearly on edge. For the first several minutes, nothing unusual happened. No sounds, no movement, just empty rooms and decaying walls. That calm wouldn't last. As they approached one of the rooms deeper inside the building, something abruptly changed.
Para a usina.
Ô,
velhinho do mal.
ô, galera, ô. Movimento no mato ali atrás, velho.
Movimento?
Aham, parece que passou alguma coisa na janela aqui, ó.
Não, mano. Isso aqui não tinha, galera.
Ô, eu tô falando que eu vi alguma coisa passando aqui, ó, na janela. Tô falando, velho.
Tem alguém aí, mano. Tem alguém aí.
Aquilo lá não é o carrinho que a gente trouxe a última vez?
Ei, mano, o carrinho aqui, Marquinhos. Foi você que trouxe, né?
Foi.
Mano, é o carrinho, mano. Ó os talcos ali, ó. Pode ver que aqui, ó, não tem talco mais, tá vendo?
Então.
Agora ali, ó, tá intacto o talco, tá vendo?
Vamos ver lá.
A gente colocou aqui, ó.
Ah.
Tá, o talco aqui, mano. Ninguém passou por esse talco. Agora ali já passaram, olha lá.
Esse canto aqui.
Aqui já passaram.
Ó.
Pera aí,
Mano,
que
eu tô
foi?
falando, velho.
Foi mais barulho?
Foi aqui, ó. O vidro acabou de cair aqui.
Tem alguém aí?
Tem alguém aí?
Mano, eu vou entrar nesse cômodo aqui, velho.
Entra aí, mano. Vai aí.
The sudden noise caused all three of them to freeze in place. They stood motionless, staring toward the direction it came from, trying to identify what could have caused it. Eventually, they gathered the courage to step inside the room. But as soon as they began searching, they heard even more noises coming from the room that they had just exited. Alarmed, the trio rushed back to investigate, only to find nothing. No broken objects, no signs of movement, nothing that could explain what they were hearing. For several minutes, they remained inside the room, whispering theories and trying to rationalize what was happening. That's when it happened again.
O que aconteceu, Marquinhos? Caindo alguma coisa aí, mano?
Mano, tudo gosmento, velho.
Do teto, será? Chegou lá no outro cômodo lá, Yuri?
Oi. Ó, tô falando, velho. Tem alguma coisa aqui, mano.
Ó, a lanterna tá ficando ruim, mano.
Não, onde foi isso?
Quem tá aí?
Ó, tá brincando com a gente, mano.
Brincando com nós, mano.
Ó, tenta ficar nesse cômodo aqui, eu fico nesse.
Mano, eu tô indignado com isso aqui, velho. Não tinha essas escritas aqui no último vídeo, cara. Não tinha.
Você ouviu?
Mano, que é isso, velho? É risada.
Ó,
Criança, velho.
Yuri, entra nesse cômodo aqui. Vou entrar nesse
Entra aí, entra aí, entra aí.
Vem comigo, vem comigo. Ele tá aqui, mano.
Ó. Tem alguma entidade aqui? Alguma criança está nesse local ainda? Se tiver, nos dê um sinal. Ô, 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 ô.
Onde foi?
Foi no cômodo do meio aqui, ó.
Foi aqui, mano? Barulho?
Foi aí mesmo?
Tem ninguém aí fora, não?
Mano, não tem, eu olhei aqui já.
Ó. Ó.
Ó, é pra direção do banheirinho lá mesmo, mano.
É, mano, tá na direção do banheirinho, velho. Não tem uma passagem aqui que liga lá, mano? Não tem, mano. Tudo fechado, velho.
A loud bang echoed through the building. Instinctively, the explorers bolted out of the room, hearts racing. As they moved through the hallway, they began hearing something even more disturbing. Faint, high-pitched sounds that eerily resembled a child laughing. When they entered the room the sound came from, they found it completely empty. By this point, none of them could understand what was happening. The noises seemed deliberate, intelligent, as if something was reacting to their presence. For most people, this would have been a breaking point, but the trio pressed on.
Dá um sinal pra gente! Criança, é você que tá aqui?
Mas esse espírito também não tinha, viu?
Ó, olha aqui, mano! Olha isso daí, velho!
Que foi?
Olha aqui, Yuri! Vem!
Que, velho?
Tá vindo lá fora, mano.
Tem alguém lá
Vai,
fora.
tá mexendo, velho?
Tem alguém lá fora. Quem tá aí fora?
Cara, eu falei que eu vi alguma coisa ali, mano.
Quem tá aí?
Mano. Ô, não tá nem ventando, velho.
Mano, não tem ninguém aqui, velho. Que é isso, mano?
Se tiver alguma criança aqui, se comunique com a gente.
A gente não veio fazer mal, não. Vocês são em quantos aqui? Opa.
O barulho é pra cá, mano.
É nesses cômodos aí o barulho, mano. É nesses dois aqui, ó. Você tá ouvindo também, Marquinhos?
Tô.
Mano, só se for alguém brincando com nós, velho.
Mas tinha
Quem tá aí?
acesso. Não tinha acesso pra ir pro fundo, pra trás da casa.
Pô, não tinha ninguém, mano, lá que nós viu, velho.
Ó, tá caindo vidro ainda, velho.
Ah, dá uma olhada na janela lá, viu?
Hã?
Dá uma olhada naquela janela, não tem ninguém lá.
Moments later, something outside the window caught their attention. A bush began violently shaking on its own before abruptly stopping. Almost immediately, the voices and loud bangs returned. The explorers stood in silence, trying to process what they had just witnessed. At this point, they began to suspect someone might be intentionally messing with them. Determined to confront whoever or whatever it was, they moved toward the source of the noise. What they discovered next would push them to their limits.
Ó. Mano, eu tô falando, velho. É um desses dois cômodos aqui, ó.
Não tem nada aqui, cara.
Criança, aparece pra gente. Nossa, velho, olha aqui.
Que foi? Que foi?
Aqui, ó.
Na onde?
Aquele vidro ali, ó.
Ô, mano, é lá fora, mano. É o banheiro, não é? Não é o banheirinho ali fora?
É.
E eu acho que é ali mesmo, Lucas. Quer ir lá
É o
fora?
banheirinho lá fora. Vamos lá.
Vai, ó, calma. Tem barulho aqui ainda, mano.
Não tô achando desse negócio cosmento aqui em mim, mano.
Vai, vamos lá pro banheiro, vai.
Mano, é lá.
Ô.
É lá. Vai, galera. Vai, é lá, mano.
Mano, é mais de um, cara.
É mais de um, mano. É mais de um.
Cara, foi nas minhas costas aqui agora, mano, esse barulho.
Tá brincando com nós, mano. Que
Calma,
você quer?
vamos acalmar.
Mas a gente já tentou ficar...
Calma, vamos escutar.
Não, mano.
Vamos escutar.
Ó, é lá, mano. É lá fora, velho.
O banheiro é aqui, não é, mano? O barulho tá vindo daqui, ó. Olha lá, ó, tá vindo da janela agora.
Mano, tô tremendo, velho. Que é isso, cara?
Mas tem como ir pra trás da casa?
By now, the constant voices and violent sounds seemed to be coming from every direction at once. Still, the trio continued investigating for nearly 10 more minutes. No matter where they went, the noises followed them, and every time they rushed towards the sound, they found absolutely nothing. Eventually, they came to the chilling conclusion that whatever was causing the disturbances was intentionally avoiding them. They decided to step outside and search the exterior of the building.
Tem alguém aí?
Parece que não tem ninguém, mano. Uma olhada aí, Marquinhos. Vê se tem alguma coisa aí.
Não tem como, mano. Tem gato aqui, mano. Não tem acesso, velho.
Não vem ninguém no banheiro aí, meu?
Eu não sei, velho. Parece que não.
Vem.
Ô, velho, tem alguma coisa aí, mano. Vai.
O que foi isso, Yuri? Não tem ninguém aqui, velho.
Olha aí atrás. O que tem aí?
Nada, mano. Não tem nada.
Como não, velho?
Aqui tá muito frio aqui dentro, cara. Olha.
Cadê minha lanterna?
Tá muito gelado aqui,
valeu.
cara.
Ai, caramba, velho.
Aconteceu alguma coisa?
Eu cortei o dedo aqui. Segura a arma rapidinho. Nossa, mano.
Cortou o dedo?
Cortei, velho. Cortei tudo aqui.
Ô.
Que isso, velho?
Calma. Que isso aí, velho? Que isso? É o carrinho. É o carrinho, mano.
É o carrinho. Quem tá aí?
Mano, vai entrar.
Ô.
Mano, que é isso aí, velho?
Ô, é uma criança, velho. Nossa, velho. Sai.
Mano, que é isso aí, velho?
Ô.
Que é isso?
É a criança. Tá se mexendo. Sai. Sai daí.
Standing in the doorway was a figure that appeared to be a child, staring directly at them. Before any of them could react, the door violently slammed shut. That was enough. Terrified and completely overwhelmed, the explorers ran from the building, abandoning the investigation entirely. None of them could explain what they had witnessed that night. The voices, the movement, the figure. To this day, it remains unclear who or what the childlike figure was, or how multiple doors were able to slam shut on their own. Whether what they encountered was truly paranormal or an elaborate hoax has never been confirmed or debunked. All that's certain is that something inside that building didn't want them there, and whatever it was, it made sure that they never came back.
I'm getting out of it. Alright guys, I don't know what that was. I am not hanging around to find out because that scared the absolute crap out of me. I'm going to get back to the car.
This footage was uploaded in October of 2024 by a YouTuber named Colin, known online as the Bearded Explorer. His channel is dedicated to urban exploration, documenting his journeys into forgotten buildings and abandoned locations scattered across the UK. But this particular location carried a far more unsettling reputation. The house he set out to explore sat along in the middle of a cemetery, surrounded by aging graves and silence. According to Colin, the property once belonged to a former classmate of his, named Lauren. During the time her family lived there, they began experiencing things they couldn't explain. Strange noises echoed through the house at night, and Lauren herself claimed to see shadowy figures standing at the foot of her bed. Eventually, the family moved out. No one else ever moved in. The house was abandoned, and its reputation left to grow. Despite the warnings, Colin decided to investigate the property alone, arriving under the cover of darkness. He made his way through the cemetery and approached the deteriorating structure. Finding no accessible entrance, he squeezed through a small window and climbed inside. The interior was in severe decay. Sections of the ceiling sagged overhead, and the walls were crumbling from years of neglect. The house felt unstable, as if time itself had hollowed it out from within. Still, Colin pressed forward, moving cautiously from room to room. But only minutes into his exploration, he heard something that made him freeze. Footsteps, coming from somewhere above him, and in that moment, their exploration took a terrifying turn.
Okay, let's go through the hallway. We've got the main door just there. Okay, let's go in here. There's always a creepy chair. In a room you go in, there's always a creepy chair. Oh, look at the door over there. That's cool. That's really cool. It's like a chapel sort of design door, you know, I mean, like a pointy one. What on earth is that? Oh my God, I've just got the biggest, like the goosebumps have gone all up the back of my legs and all on my arms. That's horrible. What was that? I don't know if you heard that, but that sounded like a tap, tap, tap. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here. Honestly, the goosebumps in here are horrible. These doors are lovely. Look how thick they are. Oh God, what the f*** is that? That actually sounded like there was someone upstairs. Hello? Okay, that was horrible. That actually sounded like there was somebody walking around upstairs. This is terrifying now. Let's go and have a look. Oh, I don't like this. I really don't like this. Hello? This one's empty. See outside, there's a road out there. It's very, very dark out there tonight. It's so creepy here, honestly. It's horrible. Okay, let's that mirror. I don't like that mirror at all. That is horrible.
After hearing the footsteps, Colin immediately called out, hoping for some kind of response. When none came, he cautiously made his way upstairs to investigate. But when he reached the upper level, there was nothing there. No movement, no person, no explanation. At least nothing he noticed at the time. It wasn't until later, after he uploaded the video, that viewers began pointing out disturbing details Colin had completely missed. In one moment, a pair of blue gloves had been seen resting on top of a cardboard box in the hallway, but shortly afterward, the same gloves were suddenly lying on the floor beside it. Colin never touched them, he never acknowledged them, yet somehow they had moved. Even more unsettling was what viewers noticed near the staircase. As Colin approached the stairs, a tennis ball sat clearly visible on the edge of one of the steps. But after he briefly entered another room and returned, the tennis ball was no longer in the same place. It had shifted several feet away, resting in a completely different position. Colin remained unaware of these changes as they were happening. Instead, he stayed focused on the sound of footsteps, continuing his search for whoever or whatever might be inside with him. But as he descended back toward the lower level, he was about to encounter something far more direct. Something that wasn't content to remain hidden.
Honestly, guys, I'm going to try and get my arm out. The goosebumps, you can't see. The goosebumps on my arms and my legs at the moment is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Oh, we've got another room down here, haven't we? Hello? God, I hate it. You think you can hear something. Oh no, there's a ladder. But that's too low to go in there. There's another loft space there. Oh, I can't go out there. You can see the old flint wall up there. Look, that's really cool. Wow. Okay, well, I think this is the last room. I think it's like a cupboard or something. Oh, no, it's the bathroom.
As Colin continued searching the lower floor, he approached the bathroom and slowly opened the door. What happened next sent him into immediate panic. From behind the shower curtain, someone or something suddenly forced it aside. The movement was sudden, aggressive, intentional. Colin didn't stay to find out what was behind it. Overcome with fear, he ran out of the house, through the cemetery and back to his car, desperate to put distance between himself and whatever he had just encountered. To this day, it remains unknown what was hiding inside that bathroom. There was no confirmation of another person inside the house, no explanation for the footsteps, and no answer for how objects like the gloves and the tennis ball appeared to move on their own. It's possible someone had been hiding inside the abandoned home the entire time, or perhaps there was something that was sharing the darkness with him. But because Colin fled before uncovering the truth, whatever was waiting behind that curtain remains a mystery, and the abandoned house in the cemetery remains just as silent as ever. In the summer of 2023, a British paranormal YouTuber named Andrew, known for his channel Proving Demons, released a video he described as the scariest thing he had ever recorded. Andrew had explored countless abandoned places across the United Kingdom, but on this night, he and a few close friends set their sights on a desolate old house hidden somewhere deep in rural England. After a long 30-minute drive, they parked along a lonely roadside and continued the rest of the journey on foot. Their flashlights cut through overgrown brush until the decaying silhouette of the house finally materialized from the darkness. The moment they stepped inside, the group felt it, an atmosphere heavy, stale, and wrong. They whispered about the uneasy feeling hanging in the air, but pressed on, hoping it was just nerves. They moved slowly through each room, checking to make sure the building wasn't occupied. Nothing moved, nothing spoke, nothing stirred. Eventually, they began setting up their ghost hunting equipment. A few faint recordings flickered here and there, but nothing that convinced them the place was truly haunted. So they pushed deeper into the house, climbing to the upper floors, unaware that something was waiting for them.
We literally got. Smell. Somebody's here.
Okay, let's go. Downstairs.
That's the stairs there. Alright, somebody's here. Oh, great. Come on, you guys, me and Alex up front. Wait. Hold up, let me put some stuff away. Move back for a second so I can put my stuff away.
Keep on the stairway. Keep on the stairway. Shit. Go. Let's go.
Careful. Do not run. Yeah, I know.
It began with a sound, soft at first, like footsteps somewhere above them, then a giggle, not a ghostly whisper, not a spirit box glitch, but an unmistakable human sound. Before they could react, loud bangs erupted through the house, heavy, deliberate, and coming closer. Startled, the group backed away from the noise, whispering frantically as more impacts echoed from deeper inside the building. Whatever was in there with them wasn't trying to hide.
Is this a way out? Oh, where?
Run left.
Find an exit. Just go. Find an exit. No, that's the way out.
They bolted for the stairs, desperate to reach the exit, but every hallway felt unfamiliar. Every corner seemed wrong. The house suddenly felt like a maze, and the sounds, they were getting closer. The men tore out of the building and into the thick brush surrounding it, but even outside, they couldn't find the path back to the road. Every trail led deeper into a tangle of bushes and trees. Every shadow looked like someone waiting.
This ain't the way out. Stop panicking. Go.
They've got weapons.
What? What? It doesn't matter, dude.
They have some sort of weapon.
You know.
I heard them firing. I don't know what it is.
It could be a pellet gun. It sounded like a chainsaw. No. It could be a fucking BB gun. It could be something, but it's definitely something you don't want to walk into. Okay, listen to me very, very clearly. I can see crystal clear right now. There's no lights. You need to listen to me. I don't just walk in. What I say, you do. Don't question me. You just do it. There's lights over there. Get down there. Look at first. What did they say? What did he say? He said, come out and do something bad for you. Go, enter these people. They're not
Hidden among the bushes, they could still hear the banging. Only now it wasn't coming from the house. It was moving, approaching. They whispered about the lights, flashlights sweeping across the dark fields, and then they heard a man's voice calling out, threatening them. Andrew later explained that at this point, he stopped recording. Survival became more important than documenting what was happening. For nearly 20 minutes, they remained crouched in the brush, listening to footsteps closing in. When they finally tried to push towards the road, they saw them. 3 armed men emerging from the darkness. Panicking, the explorers sprinted back toward the only escape they knew. The same doorway they had entered through, the armed men followed, crashing through the undergrowth behind them. Branches tore their clothes and scratched their skins as they ran through the forested property. Somehow, by sheer luck, they reached their car first, dove inside, and sped off into the night. Once they were safe, they called the police and reported everything they had encountered. Officers arrived with dogs and an armed response team, searching for the men who had chased them across the abandoned property. Later, Andrew would say that this was the closest he had ever come to a real danger during an investigation, not from spirits, but from the living. And he admitted that that night could have ended very differently had they not escaped when they did.
So DA-15 is a camera trap. Oh my god, blue lights.
Yeah. They're on a mission, so they're getting the gun team and everything.
Yeah, they've already got firing squad there and dogs.
This unsettling footage was recorded by Jonathan, a YouTuber many viewers may recognize from his channel Happy Hippie Wild Living. Known for his upbeat personality and love for the outdoors, Jonathan spends most of his time hiking, camping, and exploring remote wilderness locations. Fear is rarely something you see in him. For more than 2 years, he has documented his quiet life in nature, sleeping in forest, exploring forgotten places, and sharing the peace he finds far from civilization. But one particular trip would take a disturbing turn. On January the 3rd, 2024, Jonathan set out alone for another winter journey deep into the wilderness. As part of his routine, he likes to sleep somewhere different each night. This time, his destination was a remote mountain shelter known as a bothy. From the outside, the small hut looked simple and welcoming, but Jonathan would learn that something very strange was waiting for him inside.
Hello there, welcome to day 435 of me living out in nature. And it's the new year, so I thought I'd do a nice long video instead of the little short minute ones I've been doing recently. Today I'm going to go find a bothy around this area somewhere. It'll be the 3rd time I've stayed in a bothy. I've never had any guests, so 3rd time's a charm.
As Jonathan checks in with his viewers, his mood is relaxed and cheerful, despite the cold rain and harsh winter conditions. He seems completely home, trekking through the quiet wilderness. For Jonathan, solitude isn't something to fear, it's exactly what he seeks.
The bothy I'm going to is called the White Lagan, I believe, and it's by Loch D, and I've got a bit of wood with me just in case there's no dry stuff there, so I can have a fire with ease. Not seen a single person on this hike yet, but that's how most of my days go in the winter. I like that, I get to do this in the winter mostly, and then the summer job I'm just at one place, so I miss all the crowds when I'm out in nature. There's my home in the distance. Let me zoom in. It's got the nice Scottish flag on it. Let's go see what it looks like. I've had people say I'm brave and ballsy for living this lifestyle, but there's nothing brave about it when it's doing something you love, so I don't agree with that. I do agree with doing things you're passionate about in life. You only live once. Life goes by pretty quick, so get out there and do what you love.
When Jonathan finally spots the small cabin in the distance, a smile spreads across his face. After hours of hiking through wet, empty wilderness, a little shelter feels like a reward waiting at the end of the trail. Unaware of what the night would bring, he heads towards the hut to settle in.
Well, I have made it to my home for the night and it looks beautiful. nice bunk beds. Alright, sweet.
After checking the inside of the shelter, Jonathan quickly realizes he has the place to himself. Satisfied with the quiet solitude, he begins unpacking his gear and preparing to spend the night. But not long after settling in, he notices something unexpected.
So more people are coming, but they've drove it. I didn't even know you could drive on this road. And just had that family come in, and they said they'd just been to a different bobby nearby, and they were just searching around for another one. So they're just going to have a little walk somewhere, and they said, I might have guests tonight, so we'll see how it goes.
Jonathan chats briefly with the small family as they pass by. They aren't sure whether they'll return to stay in the hut that night, but they leave the possibility open before heading off down the trail. With daylight fading and temperatures dropping, Jonathan decides to go inside, cook dinner, and prepare for the evening.
My bed for the night. Gonna get the fire on when it gets darker. There's normally loads of candles around, but they've all been burnt out. Finish off the haggis, and of course putting in my favourite, cayenne pepper. And as always, top it off with a little mustard. And there we have dinner fit for a little hippie. Simple and delicious.
For a while, everything feels peaceful. The small hut grows warm from the fire. Dinner is finished, and Jonathan begins settling into what should be a quiet night in the wilderness. But before long, something begins to interrupt the calm.
This will probably be me for most of the night now. I just get my music on, enjoy this beautiful fire, and then get back outside tomorrow in my hammock. I got one of them water filter straws, and it comes with 2 little bags as well, so you can attach the straw to that. But I've not got to use. Maybe this is the guests. There was no one there. I don't know if that's just the people fucking with me or something. I don't know if that's something they do. But I don't think it would be that family. If it was just a dad and his daughter and son.
From outside the cabin, strange knocking noises begin echoing through the quiet forest. Each time Jonathan checks the door, expecting to see someone standing there, no one is outside. At first he tries to laugh it off, assuming someone nearby might be playing a prank. But as the noises continue, the situation begins to feel increasingly unsettling.
Just knocking on the door again, and then I went out, but there was no one there, so I don't know what's going on, but I've not heard of any haunted bobbies or anything. I've never had weird shit. Fuck's sake. Just wanted a nice little bobby night. If you've watched all my videos before, you know I don't do shit like this. Fun night.
Now clearly unnerved, Jonathan prepares to lie down for the night, but sleep doesn't come easily. Every shadow in the room feels darker than before, and an uncomfortable feeling creeps over him. The sense that someone might be standing outside, watching through the windows.
You're walking around into the room, and then I go in there, and it just stops. Maybe I just put my music on really loud and forget about it. Cameraman never dies, right? So it's been about an hour and a half since I last made a video, and I've just been doing what I said. I've had my music on loud, I've listened to Blink, some drum and bass, some reggae, and I'm doing what I came here to do, and that's have a good fucking night. So I'm enjoying my time by this fire, and have an amazing day tomorrow, back out in nature where I belong. So peace and love.
Eventually, Jonathan decides the best thing he can do is ignore the noises. He logs off with his viewers, turns on some music, and focuses on relaxing by the fire. Thankfully, after that point, the strange disturbances finally stop.
Had a bit of an experience last night. Not really sure what was going on. Thought it was just people knocking on the door and running away that were camping nearby, but it didn't seem like that when I went outside. Couldn't really explain what was happening next door with the noises, but I'm not really a believer in ghosts myself. It was a bit creepy, but I'm more of an alien guy. But if you are into ghosts and all that paranormal stuff, these are not the videos for you, because this is not what I do, this is not what I'm about. I'm just a happy hippie, hiking, living in nature, loving the world. I never have anything like this happen to me, so hopefully it's just a one-off and everything goes back to normal now. So
the following morning, Jonathan reflects on the strange events of the night before. While he tries to brush it off as a harmless prank, one unsettling detail still remains. When he stepped outside to investigate the knocking, there was never anyone there. No footprints, no voices, no movement in the surrounding wilderness. To this day, the source of the knocking at the Bothy remains unexplained. Jonathan continued his wilderness adventures, but he later admitted there was one place he had no interest in returning to, that small hut near Loch D. Because sometimes in the wilderness, you may not be as alone as you think, and sometimes the sounds outside your shelter aren't coming from other campers at all. If the previous encounter left you uneasy, what happens next may be even more disturbing.
And that wraps up this episode. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe so we can keep bringing you more creepy, bizarre, and haunting tales. Check out the links below to dive deeper. And if you have your own creepy encounter, tell us in the comments. We might feature it in a future video. Until next time, sleep tight.